sitting on a bench in my garden, and behind me is the honeysuckle. And so I'm also surrounded, not just by greenery, but by a beautiful, beautiful scent coming from the honeysuckle. And thinking of this week's series, we've been going through Psalm 103, and of course it's the week 16th through to the 20th of July. I was struck actually by everything this week, but I want to pick on Wednesday, and the particular verse was Psalm 104, verse 31. May the glory of the Lord continue forever. The Lord takes pleasure in all he has made. What I love about this is the twofold nature of that verse. First of all, may the glory of the Lord continue forever. There's this sense in which we are behind God in that desire to see him break out into our nation in a new way. All of us, everybody is tired of violence and sickness and disease, and really wants to see the kingdom of God established on earth. So that's one aspect of it. The other is, of course, the Lord takes pleasure in all he has made. And that's not just the plant life, it's not just the animal life, but it's you and me. And if you're feeling a bit down today, or indeed any day, what I suggest you do is look in the mirror and see somebody there for whom Jesus died. See somebody there who God takes pleasure in. We may feel sometimes that our life is going downhill. We may know we've done something wrong and may be uncertain how to put things right. We might even wake up in a frightening condition of not wanting to put anything right. But that doesn't matter, because God takes pleasure in us, and his arms are always open to welcome us back in. And when we do well, when we do things well, he's there saying, that's my boy, that's my girl. You see, I knew that was in them, and I knew it could come out. And I just think that's a blessing for all of us. It's an interesting thing that in Romans, Paul wrote this, and this is Romans 1:20. Ever since the world was created, people have seen the earth and the sky. Through everything God made, they can clearly see his invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature. So they have no excuse for not knowing God. And as we look at the natural beauties around us, and I was, on Wednesday, I was thinking of my three boys, one of whom lives in the same town we do, in Sussex, and who loves the downs and the weald and the coast, the Sussex coast. And then my oldest son lives in Bosnia-Herzegovina and just loves the lakes and the mountains of Bosnia. And my middle son lives in Cape Town, and of course Table Mountain is a great favourite of his. He can see it from his home, and he can see it from his office, and it's just one of those things that he feels privileged to live by such an iconic geographical symbol. And I just think it's just wonderful for us to delight in the natural things of the world, because they're God's signature. In them we can see his invisible qualities, as Paul said. But today, what do I want to remember most? I want to remember that God takes pleasure, he takes delight in everything that he has made. And that includes you, and that includes me. And whenever you see your reflection, remember, it doesn't matter what we feel like. What God feels like is, hey, this is somebody that I made, and I take pleasure in them. In other words, in taking pleasure in all that he's made, God underlines that he really put us on the earth because he wants to enjoy us, as he also wants to enjoy the wildlife he created, like this cat that's come galloping along to interrupt the video as she usually does. Have a wonderful weekend, knowing that God takes pleasure in you, and I look forward to being with you next week.